I call the Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I'm very pleased today to be speaking in support of the Paid Parental Leave Bill, a piece of legislation that is of utmost importance to our nation. And this bill represents not just important reform, but a really transformative change that does hold immense significance for families, and in particular women. And of course, it's also vitally important for the overall health of our economy. Now, the Albanese Government understands the significance of this reform, and we're committed to championing the well-being of parents and their children while striving for gender equality and focusing on economic growth. And paid parental leave is the basis, the absolute basis, upon which we build a healthier, more nurturing environment for parents and their children. It's important because it provides a much-needed support to new parents during a really crucial and often difficult phase of life, and it really fosters a strong and healthy start for our children as well. And it can be a very challenging time, and we should all be there to provide support for those new parents. And as governments, there's a lot that we can do, and paid parental leave is vitally important in that, because this is also not merely a social policy that's good for families, but it is also an economic one, contributing significantly to the stability of families and the efficiency of our workforce. And it is importantly a key instrument for achieving gender equality, a goal that unites us all of us, in governments, businesses, unions, the community, economists. Everyone recognises its profound importance. Now, when implemented correctly, paid parental leave can be a win-win, fostering not only individual well-being and family well-being, but contributing to the greater economic good, because it offers support for working parents, reduces turnover in the workplace, and results in a more engaged and productive workforce. Moreover, and so importantly, it empowers women to maintain their careers and economic independence, bridging so many gender disparities. Now, businesses, unions, experts, economists all understand that one of the most effective ways to boost productivity and participation is providing more choices and more support for families alongside greater opportunities for women. And of course, our commitment to this cause was evidenced in our first budget, where we invested $500 million to extend the scheme to 6 months by 2026. This monumental investment represents the most substantial commitment to paid parental leave since we introduced it in 2011, benefiting over 180,000 families every year. And, Deputy Speaker, this reflects the Albanese Government's unwavering commitment to improve the life of working families and ensuring better outcomes for children and furthering women's economic equality. Now, the paid parental leave bill that we're debating today is, of course, the second phase of the government's reform, building on the changes we initiated last year. And these initial reforms, which came into effect on July 1st, expanded access to the payment, providing parents with greater flexibility in how they take their leave and encouraged shared caregiving responsibilities. And so important to do that, recognising the different working environments and family environments as well. Now, these changes were designed as the building blocks for the comprehensive 26-week expansion outlined in this bill. And this bill is a really significant leap forward in the evolution of our paid parental leave scheme, as it increases the length of the payment from 20 to 26 weeks. Furthermore, it extends the period reserved for each parent from 2 to 4 weeks and doubles the period during which parents can take leave at the same time from 2 to 4 weeks. And the implementation will commence on the 1st of July 2024, and 2 additional weeks of leave will be added each year until we reach the full 26-week period in 2026. And, Deputy Speaker, the significance of this expansion cannot be overstated, providing mothers with up to 22 weeks of paid parental leave, an additional month compared to the current scheme. And that extra time is so invaluable for mothers to recover after childbirth and establish those strong bonds with their newborns. Furthermore, it doubles the period reserved for fathers or partners, encouraging them to take a more active role in parenting. And whether you're a mother or a father caring for your child, gender should not affect your access to parental leave payments. And also what this bill sends a resounding message that parenting is an equal partnership and it actively supports gender equality. This government values men as caregivers just as much as women. We understand that. And we want this to be reinforced in both workplaces and the communities. And we see that so often in our communities, in our families, but there needs to be legislation like this to encourage people to take it up. The bill also ensures that single parents are not left behind. They too will have access to the full 26 weeks of paid parental leave. Moreover, the bill introduces flexibility by increasing the number of weeks during which parents can take paid parental leave at the same time. And when we announced our paid parental leave reform in the 2022-23 October budget, we of course sought the guidance and listened to the Women's Economic Equality Task Force to determine that best model for the 26 weeks, one that would really work to advance women's economic equality. Now, the task force recommended reserving 4 weeks for each parent on a use-it-or-lose-it basis and allowing parents to take up to 4 weeks of leave at the same time, which is a great option as well. Now, we wholeheartedly embrace this advice as it represents a well-balanced approach that increases support for mothers, encourages fathers to take leave, and also provides families with the flexibility to structure their unique care arrangements according to their very unique needs. As a result of these reforms, from 26 to 27, the government's total investment in paid parental leave will be around $4.4 billion a year. That is a massive investment in a plan that will be really absolutely so important for families. The government payment is a minimum entitlement designed to complement employer-provided leave as well. And of course, we were all really pleased to hear that data that was collected by the Workplace Gender Equality Agency, who reported that in 2021-22, 62% of employers offered employer-funded paid parental leave. And this is a very positive trend, as in 2013-14, that same figure was only at 48%. So seeing that increase in employer contributions means that employers are recognising the value and the worth to their employees and to the economic productivity of their business as well. And data such as this also is indicative of society that has evolved greatly and a business community that sees themselves as having a role alongside government in providing that paid parental leave. And I certainly concur with the comments by Minister Richworth in saying that we want to continue to see this trend grow. And I certainly thank all those employers who've seen paid parental leave a workplace investment that returns better benefits for parents, employers and the economy. So in summary, the changes that are outlined in this bill strike a really critical balance between providing more support to mothers, encouraging fathers and partners to take an active role in parenting, and offers families the flexibility they need to structure their care arrangements effectively depending upon their family circumstances, their particular occupations, their working environments. They are able to do that effectively. Because we know that for so many people they were unable to continue to work in the past because that capacity was not there, that financial support wasn't there, that flexibility wasn't there. But that's what we are saying with this bill in terms of providing that. And it's just so essential that our paid parental leave scheme aligns with the needs and dynamics of modern Australian families and embodying a policy that's flexible, fair and promotes positive health, social and economic outcomes for both parents and their children. To have access to that leave, of course, at the time when children are born, is wonderful to be able to do that for all the necessary bonding that takes place, and to have that time and not be rushed will reap huge benefits. And this bill is a foundation support for parents and children, good for employers and a catalyst for economic growth. And we are always proud, the Albanese government is always proud to provide support for Australian families, the support that they need and they deserve, and to strengthen our economy and to promote gender equality. And we have seen that same belief in terms of our tax cuts for every taxpayer throughout Australia. We are always looking at measures that will help Australian families. And as our tax cuts will do a great job, this also, the paid parental leave, is at the heart of providing that support to Australian families. Now, of course, Deputy Speaker, We, as Labor governments, have a proud history of improving the lives of Australian families, whether it be from Medicare to the National Disability Insurance Scheme, to no-fault divorce, the single mother's benefit or the child support system. And it was Labor who first introduced the maternity allowance in the early 1900s. And despite many efforts from those opposite to dismantle this support for Australian families, it's Labor. It's Labor who introduced the paid parental leave scheme that we know now. And I also acknowledge those many people who for years and years advocated for paid parental leave. So many different groups and organisations and unions for years were advocating for this. We listened and we delivered it in 2011, and we've extended it and we're expanding it again. And it's, as I say, been wonderful to see that there's been changing attitudes in the community and also business as well, recognising the value and worth of it. And now here we are, Labor again, who continue to bring forth reforms to improve the lives for all Australian families. And I'm really proud to be a part of a Labor government who have been and always will be on the side of Australian families, and this bill absolutely, along with all of our many, many measures, as I mentioned earlier, our tax cuts making a huge difference to Australian families as well. All of these measures are designed to improve the lives of Australian families. We're very proud of it, and I certainly commend the bill to the House.
The question